Season 2 of Andor continues its intricate weavings of character arcs, their ideological tensions at a boiling point. The second arc of Season 2, they're now about 3 years outside of the Battle of Yavin, 3 BBY. The arcs escalates their moral ambiguity and an inevitable sacrifice that they will end up making just to get to open rebellion. This arc is very reminiscent of the second arc of season 1, where they had the heist and to steal the credits. You have a bunch of untrained, confused, scared people attempting to create a rebellion, though they have no idea and no resources on how to achieve said rebellion. This is now, in my personal opinion, my favorite or second. No, this is probably my second favorite arc so far. I think I have to still go with the Nakima prison breakout arc, but this might be my second favorite season or second arc, whatever. Like I said, this is 3 years before the first Death Star is destroyed, the destruction of the first Death Star. So before diving into this arc, let's go ahead and recap all the hanging threads. I mean, we have Luthen and Mon Mothma. They're still orchestrating this the rebellion. Mon is now dealing with the aftermath of her daughter's marriage. We still don't know what happened to that banker. Did he die? Did Luthen end up getting him killed? We don't know. But they were just dealing with the wedding, and they were dealing with the drama of the politics of the wedding itself. Like I said, Mon Mothma is drowning in political pressure. She marries her daughters off to a crime-linked rich banker, Davos, and his family to fund the rebellion through her banker friend. Andor rescued Bix and Wilmon from the Empire, but is now hiding in one of Luton's safe houses. Bix just went through so much. Wilmon seemingly now is working with Saw Gerrera, or was sent to Saw Gerrera by Luthen. And Luthen and Claire are getting concerned and scared, and they are making mistakes, losing control. So let's flash forward a year now. You know, like I said, this is now 3 BBY. And as I mentioned, Luthen is fraying. I mean, he in season 1 was methodical, patient. But now he's taking reckless steps. He assigned Andor to liaison with the Gorman businessman, who's allegedly trying to create a rebel cell. If you don't remember, Gorman is the planet that the Empire under Krennic and Deidre are planning a Empire hostile takeover. But in order to encourage a takeover legally, they need to incite a rebel cell to attack open armed and Gorman. So if the rebels start attacking Empire troops unprovoked, the Empire has full reign to shut them all down. And that's the long-term goal. So over the past year since Arc 1 and Arc 2, they've been creating this pressure, a shadow cell, Deidre and Krennic. So back to what Luthen is doing. So he assigns Andor to meet with them. But Luthen, like I said, does not know this is all. The cell is created by misinformation planted by Deidre. And instead of taking his time, planning, reading the resources, vetting the sources, and do proper, renaissance, he kind of pressures Andor to push the cell, to encourage them to commit the treason.
You tell them to be careful.
It doesn't matter to you, does it?
It doesn't matter. Gorman in play. A new front line against the Empire? A chance for that, that's a triumph. You're thinking small, you're thinking like a thief.
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader. Think about a planet like Gorman in rebellion. A planet of wealth and status.
If it goes up in flames?
It will burn. Very brightly.
All I'll skip this one.
To attack the Empire, to reveal the Empire's holding weapons. All of this stuff because at the end of the day, he wants a rich community like Gorman to revolt. Because if all other population sees a very rich, vibrant group of people get attacked by the Empire, every other planet is on alert. And that's what he wants at the end of the day. But he doesn't care what happens to the untrained, unpolished kids. And Willman, on the other hand, like I said, is sent to Saw Gerrera to assist with stealing rhinodrium. I cannot pronounce that word, but it's a fuel. It's a fuel cell. It's a highly unstable combustion explosive resource. It's used for fuel. But Saw Gerrera, the extremist, sees Willman as a new soldier for his violent crusades, and through their interaction, he kind of sells Willman on his cult, on his terrorist group. And Willman means a lot to Andor and Biggs, so, the fact that Luthen just gave Willman away without any real cause, this was all done off screen, so you can only imagine it must not have thought, or it must not have been a big enough moment for Luthen to even think about. Luthen is not realizing if Willman dies under the hands of Saw or whatever, that's going to even put a further strain between Andor, Biggs, and Luthen, which can cause another thread that Luthen has to close. So Luthen is just opening up a bunch of different threads, things that he's once upon a time had everything closed off, everything was a lot more cleaner. He's a lot of loose threads, and I'm not sure how he's going to clean them up or if he'll ever get a chance to do so. And all the while, while all this is going on, Luthen and Claire, his second in command, they have to infiltrate a social event hosted by Davo, Mon Mothma's daughter's father-in-law, because Luthen had planted a bug in one of their artifacts years ago. So fearing exposure, they must go into this party, infiltrate it, find the artifact, destroy the bug, all the while keeping face as being just the artifact keeper, just the salesman.
For what? What have we ever heard?
Are you done?
Let's put a bug in Davos Skalden's office. That leads directly back to us.
Oh, it didn't seem to bother you when we caught Yularen lying.
Oh, seriously?
The Hollow News buyout, Skalden courting the Grand Vizier.
Bits and pieces, that's all we ever got. 2 years of bits and pieces.
You agreed to it.
I'll let you talk me into it.
You're becoming insufferable.
I can't.
The businessman. Luthen is coming undone. He urges Andor to provoke a rebellion in Gorman despite the werewolves being, unwoefully ready. But Clea remains the only one stabilizing force right next to Luthen. She's stressed. You can tell she's stressed, rightfully so. But she is quietly managing his chaos, trying to quiet him, trying to soothe Luthen. But the cracks are widening, and I am scared to see where this ends up. Moving on to what's going on with Andor and Biggs. Their story arc in this 3-episode chunk didn't really go much, but what it did was enough to allow these characters a moment to heal. They're haunted, they're refugees living now on Coruscant and Luthen's safe house. The fugitives still. After what happened on that planet last arc, they killed multiple Imperial stormtroopers. They're on the run. They are now in Coruscant, and they're still, are most wanted from the stuff that happened on the Biggs and the Nick's Road, or what's that? I do apologize, but the situation that happened on his parents' home planet. From this last arc of season 1. So, they're living in Coruscant, but in isolation. In a slight flashback, we learned that Andor may have killed a teenage boy that had recognized Biggs as an act of protection, but that leaves Biggs even further traumatized. Multiple things, she's been drowning under now. She was sexually assaulted, she had to kill a few people. Her boyfriend died. She was interrogated by the Empire. Now Andor is killing unarmed young kids for her justification. She's, driven deep, mad, and using pain-numbing drugs as a dependency. And it doesn't help that Andor is suffocating her with his fear-driven seclusion. Not wanting to go out, afraid to leave their home, afraid to go shopping, afraid anybody will recognize them will report them to the Empire. And when Luthen finally forces Andor to visit Gorman, it leaves Biggs alone and unraveling further. And like I said, on Gorman, Andor meets with the daughter of the supposed leader of the rebel group, a young, reckless idealist. And he realizes this cell is untrained. They're naive. Andor realizes they are doomed, and instead of doing what he might have once upon a time did and helped, he leaves them, disillusioned. But upon learning that Luthen tried to recruit Biggs, he's now furious. While Andor was off planet, Luthen visited Biggs and tried to recruit her for whatever mission he had planned up. And Andor does not think she's ready for this, and he is mad about this whole situation, rightfully so. And the act of rebellion, against his own handler, Andor demands something in return. He gets pissed off at Luthen and basically demands that Luthen reveal something to keep them on the good graces. Further, we realize that he reveals Dr. Gorst's location, the sadistic torturer, the one who tortured Biggs in the season finale of season 1.
To protect Biggs at any cost.
We are not droids, Luthen.
We are not who we were when we started. Biggs has to pull it together, or you'll have to decide at what point it becomes too large a problem. Unless that's what you're doing right now.
Oh, no. That's gonna be up to you.
I want her as strong as you do.
It would just be easier if I was alone.
Sir Andor and Biggs infiltrates Gorst's facility and assassinates him, detonating the building on their way out. It's kind of cathartic, but it's a dangerous move. It's going to make them have to flee now. Now they have to be underwater again. They burnt the bridge in Coruscant. Sure, they are on good graces still with Luthen, but they can't remain on Coruscant. I can't see them staying there longer now. But let's get to the bigger picture. This whole arc has been leading to the Gorman rebellion taking form. We see Cyril. He is now stationed on Gorman. Under the company, they sent him here to, from what we could tell, Mount Silk. Dealing with the exports and the trade of Coruscant, or the Empire and Gorman. And he seems to be empathizing with the people that he once upon a time would have hunted when he was at the ISP. His mother, Edie Karn, hilarious, parroting Fox News level propaganda, is buying into the narrative that Gorman are ungrateful elites that needs to be wiped out, that they're prideful, is hurting the Emperor, they're mocking Empire Palpatine. But Cyril is defending them, as he's seen their fears. He works with them every day now. But it seems that evil, sadistic traitor Cyril is acting under dangerous order. His pro-Gorman stance is a cover to infiltrate the rebellion cell and deliver them crumbs of information to hang themselves with. It is sad and sadistic. So when the rebel cell finally creates this plan to hijack the Imperial weapon convoy to prove to the whole planet that they're building a armory to use against the Gorman people, Cyril leaks them the route. He leaks them the convoy time zones, the passcodes, how to get in. He reveals everything to them so they're able to plan this cleanly, setting up the very rebellion that Dendra and the ISB wants to crush and have a reason to destroy Gorman. It's a very dark, very realistic showcase of how propaganda can destroy worlds. And while the planet, Luthen doesn't care if this is a shady move to help out. He sees this, and he has no idea what Cyril and Daedra are doing. But the way Luthen is identifying this rebellion core and Gorman is, if we can get this rich, wealthy, luxurious planet to have to revolt against the Empire, then we can prove to other planets that y'all can fight too. Like, it's a spark is what he wants. He wants a spark to light the revolution. Regardless on how this, regardless of what happens to the Gorman people. Luton is the dark side of the rebels, and he's the evil that the rebels needs. He's a unfortunate must and an unfortunate need. But so he sends Vel and Sendra to warn, to work with the rebels, to work to teach them, to guide them, and to aid them. But they make one rule: no weapons. We take the weapons. No, they made two rules. Whatever, two rules: no weapons, and you listen to the chain of command. Us. But one young rebel panics, brings the rebel blaster. You can imagine what happens. Through a scuffle, he shoots randomly into the air, killing Sendra in a crossfire. The rebels escape, but it's a sad moment. You have Vel and Sindra, people who have been trying to help planet by planet, spying on an empire, revealing, leaking, and aiding, and moving in the shadows, forming a rebel cells all amongst the galaxy. They live so much, only to be shot and killed by a single blaster bullet, randomly. It's sad. And Vel monologue to that young kid is haunting. And this is a very haunting echo in a very small scale of the Eldani heist in season 1. History repeats. The innocent blood spirits and idealism meets consequences. You guys are not prepared for this. You guys should never have started this. Now an innocent, good soul is dead with Syndra. And while all of this is happening, I did mention briefly that Wilmon is now under the ring of Saw Gerrera. That little kid who was radicalized at a young age at the finale. He's the one whose dad was being tortured by the Empire. He's the one who threw the handmade C4 that blew up into the road, causing that the revolt. He's a survivor, but Saw is going to be using him as a weapon, as he uses everybody in this group. And I mean, like you said, like he tells Wilma, like, Luton is not here. I'm here on the front lines fighting with you. And here to show offers the most disturbing juxtaposition. Like, Saw was once upon a time trained by Ashoka and Anakin, but is now committing atrocities that's probably equally heinous as what the Empire is doing for his pure justification of good. And it's sad to see how dark Saw, Gerrera has gotten. And we do see, and the reasoning why he's become more madder, more crazier, why he needs his breathing mask now is he's become addicted to hydronium. It's like I said, that the fuel cell. It's a gas that comes out of the fuel. It's highly toxic. It burns your inside. It melts your skin. And it seems like after the events of the Clone Wars, where the Empire took over, he was sent to some work camps on his home planet on Andor. And while he was on Andor as the home planet, it looks like the slave camp that he was in, the concentration camp that he was in, they were exposed to Rhino, and he got addicted to it. And now he breathes it. He screams in rage. He uses it, a tool for his madness. And we know that Wilmot does not survive because he's not in Rogue One. He's not in Saw's camp in Rogue One. So it's kind of sad to see this young kid who's just been radicalized. Death is going to be inevitable here very soon. And it's sad to see. And like I said, overall, like, this arc ends with such a intense, epic, like, back and forth with the party scene, with the Gorman heist, Luton unraveling, while his pursuit of rebels is turning ruthless and dangerous. Hicks is barely holding on. She does get her happy ending, I guess you could say, when she kills Dr. Gorst with Andor. They blow the building, but can we say it's a happy ending? This trauma is going to eat her alive, and killing is not going to solve this trauma. She needs a therapist, Andor needs a therapist, and they're using violence as a means to an end, and it's going to destroy them. and it's going to turn Andor into the person we see him in Rogue One. And remember, in Rogue One, Biggs is not there. As either Biggs leaves Andor to himself, or she dies, turning Andor into that cold-blooded killer that we see him in Rogue One. And I am not ready for that. They're slowly becoming that ghost that we see, that, you know, the person who can just change on a dime of who he is, mirroring very similar to how Luton was in Season 1. And Cyril is walking a razor edge. Right now, he's unaware of, the plan. All he thinks he's doing is identifying and collapsing a rebel group. He doesn't realize that he's working with Deidre to collapse the whole planet. Is this going to weigh on his, his loyalty? He's gotten in good graces with these people. He knows now who they are, the human people. When the Empire eventually turns on them, and 2BBY, during the known Gorman Massacre, how is that going to play on Cyril's? Like I said, we do know Gorman Massacre based on Rebels' timeline. If they don't work on it, that massacre should be happening in the next arc. So I definitely think we're going to be continuing with the Gorman people. I am scared. I am not ready to see what happens. The match has just been struck, but the explosion is yet to come. Andor continues to deliver one of the most psychologically rich, politically mature Star Wars stories. I mean, these arcs echo real-world revolution, paranoia, misinformation, propaganda, the ethical rot of good intentions. You don't need lightsaber, Jedi, you just need broken, angry people burning for a change. It's really human, it's really real, and it's really sad. The question that echoes each episode is the cost of freedom if nobody walks away clean. The standouts of this arc is Cyril and Claire, and the saddest moments for me is that my girls are not going to get a reunion. Elle and Centra, y'all deserve better. Like I said, this might be my second favorite arc, right behind the Prison Break. 9 out of 10. I just wish we had a little bigger payoff for the Biggs moment. I'm scared to see what happens next, but this show is just dark. It's just sad. Well, let me know down below. What did you guys think? Where do you think this show's going to end? And is there any hope for Biggs? Alright, see you guys.